A mom is someone who gives you unconditional love no matter what you do, and she's someone you can always go home to.
She helps you with like day-to-day things that you can't really turn to other people for.
My mom, or any mom, is somebody who starts out as a parent and becomes a best friend.
I think she also has to be so organized and on top of everything. I feel like whatever question I have, I can always go to my mom.
A mom is someone that will always have your back when you call her crying in the middle of the night.
She is also responsible for a lot of the day-to-day activities like cleaning the house and doing laundry.
I think a mom is someone that keeps everything tidy.
They're like a combination of your shrink, your life manager, your helping hand, and they teach you how to be better people.
Organized because she's always on top of what needs to be done around the house. She always is getting the food and making it, preparing it. She never is late on those tasks. She's patient, which you pretty much have to be a house mom. And finally, I would say she's selfless because I think that's just one of those things that goes along with being a house mom. She always puts the girls in the house ahead of herself and is always making sure that their needs are met and that their experience in the house is as good as it can possibly be.
Joan Klosek, and I'm the house director of Epsilon Gamma chapter of Delta Gamma at University of Virginia, Charlottesville. I have been a house mom for 17 years. The interesting thing is my daughter-in-law saw it online, and they live in Earlysville. So it worked out that I emailed my resume and I got the position. The biggest job that I have is maintaining the house. By that I mean all the repair work and just making sure that the house is safe. And from there, and then I do the maintenance and then the cleaning, make sure the house is clean. And we have to make sure that we stay within our budget. And so what I was doing is I was figuring out where we stood with the budget to make sure that we know where we are with that so we can charge the women. It's just enough work that keeps you going, keeps your mind going, and if I really want to, I can take a nap in the afternoon and this type of thing, which you couldn't do if you're working 9 to 5.
I think Aubrey making herself more available, not only to house residents, but just regular members of the chapter, has been really fun. We see her a lot more, I think really is the biggest thing. Last year, Kim was really awesome about, keeping the house relatively nice and things like that, but at the same time, we never really saw her, and so we didn't really feel like we had a relationship with her, and so I think Aubrey making herself more available, not only to house residents, but just regular members of the chapter. It's kind of nice that she doesn't just stay holed up in her apartment, and then we see her and be able to have kind of real conversations with her instead of just the house mom, normal house resident relationship.
I'm Aubrey Mignone, and I'm 22 years old, and I'm the house mom for the Alpha Delta Pi house. Well, I myself was a part of a Greek organization during my time at UVA, and so that was where I kind of became familiar with the position of a house mom or a house director. And I actually knew the house director of the Alpha Delta Pi house last year. She was a sister in KD while I was there, came here after graduation, and then kind of passed the position on to me. Well, on a day-to-day basis, my main task is kind of just to monitor the house. Not saying that requires like patrolling or anything, but just keeping an eye and an ear. My boss always calls me the eyes on the ground, making sure that kind of the girls are safe and they're comfortable, as well as the house facility itself is safe. But I think the way I kind of see my relationship with these girls is I try to be a friend and I try to be open for when they need me, however, not try to like step into their lives.
When I joined DZ, I had no idea that there were house moms, but I think it's because our house mom wasn't very helpful, and now we have Susie, and we're so fortunate.
She's always smiling and so happy. She'll come down here and eat with us and just ask about our day.
Hang out.
What did you do for Thanksgiving?
It's always everything is nice.
Of course.
Hey.
Hey.
Just casually doing some documentary work.
I'm Susie Crabill, and I'm house mom for Delta Zeta sorority. I never decided I wanted to take this this type of job. I'm a nurse, and my dad had died. My daughter was leaving for college. The marriage was headed south. So I was on the internet just looking around, and I saw an ad for a house director. I thought about what would it be like to pick up and move someplace, doing a job I never dreamed of doing. 2 weeks to the day, 3 interviews, and 2 weeks to the day later, I had my job, and I was here in Charlottesville as a house director, and I loved it. The class seemed very close, and the girls kind of traveled in a swarm. You know, you see one, you see a whole bunch of them, and on date functions, because a lot of times they'll have a theme where they'll have awesome costumes and so yeah, I like to take pictures of all of them and you know, help them with their costumes, and then stand at the door and wave goodbye and say, oh, I feel like Cinderella sometimes, because they're, you know, all going out and having fun. And
what we do is Harris Teeter cooks our meals, but we bring them in, and then my responsibility is to heat them and to put them out for the women, which is really nice because I don't have all the mess of cooking. So it's I enjoy that part. It really keeps me on my toes. I drive to Harris Teeter, then I have my coffee, and then I pay the bill for the whole week, and then they put the food in the car, and then I bring it back to the house. Then the women, if there are women around, they help me empty my car out and put the food in the refrigerator or whatever, what we're going to have for lunch. That's it. And it works really nice. That's one of the things that I like, is it gives me an interaction with the women, but not, it's just a nice interaction. Like they're willing to help, and it's a very nice situation.
It's been kind of a challenge because my 5th-year program is the education program, so I'm student teaching full-time.
I find that I talk about them all the time. Like, I feel like they have I think about them all the time. I don't leave them behind at school. And it's definitely kind of changed the way that I see the world, that I think about things. It's also weird. I sometimes find myself missing like a 7-year-old sense of humor when I'm with my other friends. Maybe I'm losing touch. I don't know. I am thankful for good food because sausage looks good. So I'm happy it tastes good to me. So he's just writing this little book about what they're thankful for, and then we're going to make some turkeys that will go on the outside of it, kind of a Thanksgiving-themed project.
It's almost like I have 2 full-time jobs because I'm at school every morning by 7 a.m. and some nights I don't get home until 6 or 7. So I'll, you know, check my door and kind of touch base with the girls while they're eating dinner. Hey, how's your day? But I think it's made it hard because, you know, when we schedule people to come in and do fire inspections or maintenance issues, I have to find someone at the house who will be here during those business hours because oftentimes I myself am not able to be here for that.
Being a house mom here does give me the opportunity to go back to school, which is something I wanted to do. I'm right down the street from the church. I'm here in this awesome, great community. You know, it gives me this chance to spend the time with these girls. This is great.
Every morning at 8 a.m., I go to St. Paul's morning prayer. It's a nice walk, and it's a nice way to start the morning. Well, they have so many things going on. They have something every day. Yesterday I missed, they had a wreath making, which I missed, an Advent wreath making, which I missed, but one of my friends at church said that he made me one and left it on the table in the library.
To Susie from Lawrence, in the style of Philip, Gary, and Salvador Dali. My Advent wreath.
I usually go to a 9 o'clock. This time it was Bible poetry. That we're just finishing up now, and then I go from 9 to 10. Then at 10 o'clock I go to the 10 o'clock service, and then after that we have a Bible study, which I go to, and then the rest of the day is free, and then 5:30 I go to the 5:30 service, and then there's a dinner afterwards. So that's a typical Sunday.
The sea is his, for he made it.
It is nice to have some some quiet time, no matter where you are, not just because I'm here at the house with 32 girls, but it's nice anytime to just...
I really love being able to stay somewhat in touch with the undergraduate, lifestyle and kind of just like the pulse of the university. For me, like selfishly, I just wanted to hold on to my undergraduate experience a little bit. And it's fun to see that. And a lot of my friends, were graduating and moving to other cities. So I probably, I definitely could have found people to live with, but I thought, why not kind of tap into this young, it's so funny to call them young because they're not that much younger than me, but just this lifestyle that I love so much and still kind of stay in touch with that and make sure that they're having a good and safe time. So they're helping me and I think I'm helping them too.
You have to be in that place in life that you can do this, that you can pick up and do this. It's not particularly easy when you have to be here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I wouldn't be able to do this if I had my kids in the house or, was, the marital situation or whatever. You have to be in that place in your life that you can do it.
You have to remember when I transitioned here, not only was I coming to UVA, but I didn't have anybody but my one son out in Earlysville. So all my friends are back in Ohio and the majority of my family. So to be here for like that first week or so, or no, it was actually a month, not knowing anybody and until Ann came in. So it was a really interesting beginning. Mm-hmm. But it ended up being probably one of my most positive experiences in this line of work.
This house feels like a family, and it's warm and fuzzy and nice, and I really enjoy it. I hope they do too. I hope that everybody, when they move on, that they'll look back fondly at living in the DC house.